Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our February 6th board meeting. Please join us in the pledge. Chief Loman.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Here.
Councilman McCarthy.
Here.
Councilwoman Noack.
Here.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Here.
Councilman Logan.
Yeah. Okay, we will start this afternoon. We have one site plan. Mr. Trotter?
Good afternoon, Supervisor, members of the Town Board. I'm Liam Trotta with the Planning Department, and I have one site plan to present this afternoon to the Board, acting as the Board of Site Plan Review. The application name is called Fieldstone at Comac 2, and the subject site is located on the south side of Jericho Turnpike, west of Wyandanch Boulevard. And this proposal is for Phase 2 of an apartment complex. It's the Fieldstone apartments that have been finished built about like 2 or 3 years ago. So the Phase 2 development will involve the demolition of existing structures of the Trailer City facility and the construction of a 100,418 square foot, 3-story apartment building with 98 units and associated site work, again, to be joined with the existing apartment complex to the west. This is the proposed site plan. There'll be one shared access on Jericho Turnpike. There'll be cross-access between the existing apartments and the new facility. This will be one building as opposed to multiple apartment units. And this proposal received zone change approval and variances from the Board of Zoning Appeals. The applicant has agreed to 11 conditions of site plan approval, most of which are boilerplate, that they obtain building permits, that they install tree preservation fence. There's a condition that they file a covenant allocating at least 10 units as affordable in compliance with the Long Island Workforce Housing Program. There are several conditions involving acquiring outside permits involving the New York State DOT, the Speedies permit for stormwater activity and retaining wall permits. And there are a few other conditions involving buffer fencing and landscaping adjacent to the existing single-family residence to the south. This is the proposed architecture. It's a little different than the existing apartment units, but it does complement the overall aesthetics of the overall apartment facility. Does the board have any questions on this proposal?
Any questions by the board?
They're
And
not putting a swimming pool in that section, are they?
I don't believe there's one
There's one already in the old
in
one.
the, correct, but there will be, I think there's a dog park proposed, and there will be an amenity room in the first floor of the new building. And a courtyard in between the two wings.
in between, and they'll use that common exit entrance onto,
Correct. The existing entrance is a little further west, so they will be reconstructing the overall entrance and shifting it further east.
cross access to both.
Correct, yep.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, Mr. Trotter, thank you. We'll be voting on that site plan after we read resolutions on the agenda.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sitting as Board of Water Commissioners.
We have the minutes of January 18th, and there's one transfer between budget accounts.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes. Reconvene as Town Board.
Under correspondence is the St. James Chamber of Commerce St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 9th with a rain date of March 16th, and the Rotary Club Go for the Green on March 16th from 9 until approximately 12. Under public hearings, we have 5 public hearings today, all regarding code changes, and Janice Hanson, Assistant Town Attorney, is here to describe them.
Good afternoon, Supervisor and members of the board. The purpose of the first public hearing today is for the board to consider amendments to section 32281G of the Town Code regarding Board of Appeals fees. The proposed amendment would amend a number of fees, and they would be as follows. For one-family residential uses, area variance would be $225, interpretation $1,500, special exception $1,250, certificate of existing use $1,600, request for rehearing after a decision has been rendered $225. Fees for uses other than one-family residential uses, an area variance would be $550, interpretation $3,000, and request for rehearing is $350. So unless there are any questions, that concludes that public hearing.
Questions by the board?
No.
Anyone in the audience wish to be heard on this public hearing? There being none, I move to close.
Second.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
Okay, the next public hearing is also regarding Chapter 322 as it relates to site plan review.
Councilman Lohman?
No.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello?
No.
Hold on.
Oop, sorry.
The purpose of this hearing is for the board to consider amendments to section 32288D regarding application fees. This is site plan review fees. The amended fees, if adopted, would be as follows. Minimum fee for new site plan, $1,000 per acre or any fraction thereof. Minimum fee for a revision of a site plan for which a building permit or certificate of occupancy has been issued, $1,000. Nonprofit organizations would be $350 for a new or revised site plan application. Fee for an addendum, $325 per acre of the site to be modified. A waiver fee, $1250 per item. A nonprofit organization exemption application fee would be $350. Unless there are any questions, that concludes those amendments.
Questions by the board?
No.
Anyone in the audience wish to be heard on this public hearing? There being none, move to close.
Second.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
The next public hearing is on Chapter 248 entitled Subdivision of Land.
So, this is to consider amendments to Section 248-9 and 248-13A11 regarding filing fees. The amended fees, if adopted, would be as follows. The filing fee for a preliminary layout would be $1,100 for each lot or dwelling as shown on the preliminary map of a residential subdivision, and the final plat would be $2,000 plus $1,100 for each lot shown on the final map for each residential final plat or section of a final plat. Unless there are any questions, that concludes that presentation.
Questions by the board?
Nope.
Anyone in the audience wish to be heard on this public hearing? There being none, move to close.
Second.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
Okay, the next one is regarding Chapter 151, Environmental and Coastal Quality Review.
The purpose of this hearing is for the board to consider amendments to Section 151-18, fees for consistency review. And if adopted, the amended fees would be $275 for residential zone property, and for business or industrial zone property, $550. Unless there are any questions, that concludes this presentation.
Questions by the board?
No.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience wish to be heard on this public hearing? There being none, move to close.
Second.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
And the last is amendments to Chapter 112 entitled Building Construction.
Okay, so the purpose of this hearing is for the board to consider amendments to Section 11220B regarding temporary certificates of occupancy. And the proposed amendment provides that a temporary certificate of occupancy remains effective for 1 year from the date of issuance. Currently, it's 6 months, so it extends it another 6 months. Unless there are any questions, that concludes that presentation.
Questions by the board?
No.
Nope. Anyone in the audience wish to be heard on this public hearing? There being none, move to close.
Second.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes. Secret type twos have been completed, so I will make a motion to adopt the public hearings for this afternoon, 1 through 5.
Second.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
Authorize the town clerk's office to advertise for a public hearing to be held at Town Hall on Thursday, February 22nd, to consider proposed local law 5-24, amendments to Chapter 177 entitled Solid Waste Management.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noak?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
yes,
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
On consent agenda, controller, number 1 to 10, resolutions 1 to 4, and the minutes of 118.
Anyone on the board wish to remove any resolutions from the consent agenda?
no, thank you.
No. Mr. Clerk?
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noak?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes,
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
The town board to issue a CEQA negative declaration determination in the matter of the application for site plan approval by Fieldstone at Comac. The address is the south side of Jericho Turnpike and Wyandanch Boulevard.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noak?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
yes,
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
Authorize the town clerk to advertise for the following bids: 24/9 electrical maintenance and repair, 24/10 polyethylene bags, 24/11 animal shelter supplies, 24/12 veterinarian medications, and 24/15 flooring installation services.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noak?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
yes,
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
The town board to approve the following: an amendment to the CSEA collective bargaining agreement regarding the title of Highway Project Inspector, an amendment to Resolution 2024-59 regarding the Secretary to the Board of Ethics, authorize the Department of Environment and Waterways to submit a letter of intent and application to the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation to obtain partial grant funding for costs associated with the operation and maintenance of 3 existing vessel pump-out facilities. Authorize the Department of Environment and Waterways to submit a request for reimbursement to receive funding from the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation for costs already expended during 2023 for the operation and maintenance of 3 existing vessel pump-out facilities. Authorize Doreen Perino, Program Director, to execute a catering agreement with the Northport Hotel for a luncheon on March 27th. The purchase of electronic imaging services from the New York State Industries for the Disabled. The next 9 resolutions are all regarding extension of bids. Traffic signal controllers with New England Traffic Solutions, swimming pool chemicals with Tortoloto Autochem, athletic field clay with Custom Clay, removal of leachate with United Cesspool Service, road marking materials with Ennis Flint, traffic sign materials with Osborne Associates and Light Enterprises of Ohio, steel stock with Pennsylvania Steel Company, print and distribute the annual recreation guide with Tobey Printing, automotive lubricants with Lubinet LLC, and an extension of RFP for parking violation software and related services with Fundamental Business Service. Authorize the design of the plans for the Department of Environment and Waterways to prepare all requisite permit application materials to obtain a New York State DEC permit for the implementation of landscaping, construction, and maintenance improvement at Given Park in Smithtown. The town board to issue a New York State Environmental Quality Review Act finding statement regarding the 2020 comprehensive plan. The next 3 are amendments to the CSAA collective bargaining agreement. The first is modifying the title of Animal Preserve Caretaker. The next is Code Compliance Coordinator, and the last is modifying the salaries of the title of Assessment Aide, Assessment Clerk, Senior Assessment Clerk, and Principal Assessment Clerk. Adoption of amendments to Chapter 322 of the Town Code entitled Zoning as it relates to yards. Adoption of the Highway Department Road Program for 2024. Extension of an intermunicipal agreement with the Town of Brookhaven for the acceptance of street sweepings. Renewal of the agreement with Source Pass Total LLC for remote monitoring and support of the town's computer network. And the last is the termination of agreement with Upstate Leak Detection.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noak?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
yes,
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
Authorize the acceptance of a donation from Brentwood High School Pause for Cause Club in the amount of $200 and $500 from the families listed on the agenda in memory of Ray November.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
Authorize the supervisor to execute the following resolutions on a form approved by the town attorney. An agreement with Larimore Associates to provide software support and maintenance to the Public Safety Department. Agreement with Suffolk County Youth Bureau for single disbursement in the amount of $19,823 for operating expenses. Specialized service agreement with netstuff.com to provide specialized programs to the Senior Citizen Center. Amendment of agreement with Panico's Community Market for food servicing and catering at Paul J. Fitzpatrick Country Club. Amendment to professional services agreement with Save a Pet Vet Clinic to provide veterinary services to the animal shelter. A specialized service agreement between the Recreation Department and various vendors to provide specialized services and programs. A renewal of agreement with CSEA Employee Benefit Fund for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2027. And the last is to authorize the supervisor to sign a notice of intent to continue coverage as an operator under the New York State DEC State Pollutant Discharge Elimination System.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes.
And personnel issues 1 to 12 as described on the agenda.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes. That concludes resolutions. We will vote on the site plan that was proposed for today.
Okay, about the site plan, we have the town board meetings of December 12th, and conditionally approve the site plan for Fieldstone at Comac for the demolition of existing structures and the construction of a 111,088 square foot three-story apartment building. All were described, as the site plan was described at the beginning of the meeting by the planning department.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Anzarello?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim?
Yes. Do we have, one who wishes to speak? One? Okay, before we start, public participation is subject to the rules of decorum, which you have on your speaker card. Public portion is for town-related matters only. Any unsubstantiated, unverified, or material false information will be interrupted. 3-minute rule will be strictly enforced. When you hear the tone, you have 1 minute to complete your statement. Please address the board.
Margaret McKenna?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm speaking on the charge for the town beaches and the parks. I have gotten a bunch of signatures opposing the charge. I've lived here for 50 years, and I think we pay enough in taxes and everything else that we shouldn't have to pay for the beaches. And especially now that the governor has come out with the swimming, that the children need to learn how to swim. And who knows, but this extra money just might not let the children go to the beaches to learn how to swim in the summer. I think it's very important. And I don't know who I present these
You can
to.
present that, ma'am, to the clerk. Thank you very much.
And Charles Montanta? Montanti?
Yes, I'm Charles Montanti, and I'm another 50-year resident. 50-year resident who stumbles. 50-year resident of Kings Park. All three of my children graduated from Kings Park High School, and I currently have a grandchild in one of the elementary schools. My concern today is that since about 2008, I have received a senior discount on the real estate taxes. Just by filling out after presenting tax forms for 5 years, then submitting an affidavit for, continuing, stating income. It was a very simple form. This year, we got a form that is asking for a lot more information, including taxable IRA distributions. And there seems to be some confusion over it. I've done a little bit of research, but I'm still not clear on it. The question is, by March 1st, I think it has to be acted on. Is there any action going to be taken on including IRA distributions in taxable income for the calculation of the senior discount and possibly the stars, enhanced stars? The assessor's office, when I called them last week, they weren't sure of it. They were just including the information to gather that if it was required. And I was told that it was up to various taxing entities, including the town and the school district. I looked on the New York State site, and there was something enacted in 2023 that they referred to, but I didn't see anything on it. At the last town meeting, not the last town meeting, but December 28th, there was a discussion of volunteer firemen's exemption. But anyhow, it's still, I haven't seen anything public on it. And my concern about this is that, I have no pensions, and like a lot of other citizens, I just rely on Social Security and either savings or IRA withdrawals. In the case of IRA withdrawals, if they are included in the calculations, it would really severely impact the taxes paid. I don't think I'd be able to remain as a Kings Park resident. It's a double whammy, because if you have to pay more in real estate taxes, substantially more, you've got to take it out of your IRA if you have nothing else to take it from, which also becomes federal taxable income, and it puts you in a higher bracket. And that's basically the problem. I'd like some clarity on it, and whether or not there is pending legislation to change it.
Your time is up, but I would ask you to please stay after the meeting. We'll get all your information. We'll get in touch with the tax assessor, but I need all your contact information.
Great.
We'll get with him and the town attorney, and then we'll get back to you this week.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor.
You're welcome.
And thank you, town board.
Can I
Okay.
ask him a question?
Sure.
Sir, when you're referring to the senior discount, you're not referring to the enhanced star?
No,
Or
there's a lot of-
just the regular senior?
There's a lot of confusion about that, though, in the community through a neighborhood board posting.
Yeah.
That a lot of people get them confused. There's separate things. I
Right.
receive,
Okay.
because
So-
of the income
so it's
level,
the
I
senior
receive both
income.
both the
Yeah.
enhanced stars and the senior discount,
Okay,
which can run up to 50%. I think it's on a sliding scale.
okay, thank you.
Okay. No other speakers? No. I will move to close.
Second.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes?
Councilwoman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Yes.
Councilman Logan.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for attending.